welcome to the ComForConnections podcast. In this episode, Aging Services Pro Tips, Building and Retaining Your Team, we're joined by Beth Bingham, owner of ComForCare Home Care, South Indianapolis. Listen in as she shares her insight on her successful journey of building and retaining her team. Stay tuned for expert insights and practical tips to elevate your practice in serving aging populations. Welcome, Beth. It's a pleasure to speak with you today. Our listeners are really in for a treat today with you joining us. Not only are you an industry leader and an experienced ComForCare franchisee, you're also our Franchisee of the Year.
Well, yes, thank you for having me speak today.
Beth, can you start by sharing a bit about your journey to becoming a franchisee and what it meant to be recognized as Franchisee of the Year, and how this recognition impacted your community, those you serve, and your team?
Well, I will start out that I've never had a dream to become a home care owner. I had worked in corporate America, performing admin, accounting, support role type jobs. And out of the 4 companies I worked for after my bachelor's, 3 of them downsized me out of a job. After the 4th company downsized me, I looked back and checked off I had taken care of my mom. I'd done respite care to help out my father. I had finished my MBA in business administration. Both my parents were gone. And it was time to chart my own course. So someone who I talked to, like a franchise headhunter, led me to ComForCare, met the team up north, and the rest was history. What it means to be recognized is the affirmation of how I formed the company, found the team, used what I've learned can work. It's been very self-affirming. I think everyone is climbing that pyramid of self-actualization. Am I becoming all that I was meant to be? And for me, becoming recognized was a huge affirmation, not just for me, but for my entire team, because they have been a huge part of my success. People in the community have said, "You're real." And I laugh. Yes, I am. I would like to think I'm approachable, likable, have a pretty generous heart, and they know my team is focused on providing the best care possible. Everyone has their roles, and in the end, it creates an environment that the community can trust us so that they will refer to us.
Congratulations on being named the ComForCare Franchisee of the Year. This is a huge honor and absolutely well-deserved. Can you share more about your leadership and management approach that fosters a supportive and productive work environment? There is no doubt that your office has a whole team that really cares about the industry and their craft. How did you build your team to this point?
Let's start with what I'm not. I am not a micromanager, helicopter type boss. I take the Henry Ford approach and have very smart, capable people around me. I like the Richard Branson method of doing quick hallway meetings, and then let's just keep things moving. I am a huge, huge fan of sharing communication, but not to the point it overwhelms them. We have a weekly intake meeting to discuss upcoming cases and to plan if we have staffing available for them, or should our recruiters start posting for caregivers in different areas of town. We need to know where we are at with contract signings and assessments. I do focus on what perks I can give them. Some in my office is allowed some flexibility to work from home, especially if they have to think to lessen their distractions. My billing and payroll and my nurse enjoy that from time to time. My caregiver administrator will work on schedule reconciliation and the weekend before we process the payroll. So she will enjoy some time off during the week to compensate working that weekend. It's not a 9-to-5 schedule. We have fun from time to time. We do try to do some things quarterly, either with the team or an entire party with everyone. And that's caregivers and clients. We've done escape rooms, axe throwing, to Halloween trunk or treat, which is our favorite, to a Christmas party. Our most unique one coming up is bringing mini horses to the office, because a friend of mine is bringing my halflinger, Serena, and her cart to do rides in our parking lot. And don't worry, it's been approved. The caregivers and clients are invited to this party. And let me remind you, it's not all about my office team. We've really try hard to listen to what is going on in the caregivers' lives. The scheduling team, especially my caregiver administrator, plays a big role in that. We have given them so much advice as to good places to move to, food banks to go to, where to buy a good used car, help with babysitting, and so on. I've been known to do a few small payroll advances if a caregiver has been with me for a while, like to help them and even to help them rent a car so they can keep working. I've sponsored a child's gymnastic program, their fundraisers, and whatnot. We really do assist when we can, and I don't think too many caregivers take advantage of our time by doing so. I know you have to give a little to get, and we're very appreciative of the team.
Thank you, Beth, for sharing your approach with our listeners. I especially love how you truly understand how your success also comes from your caregiving team. Supporting them in both their professional jobs and in their personal lives is amazing. I also really appreciate how you foster a family environment with your team. Having fun and providing a great service is important to both you and your team. I'm curious, when hiring new staff, what qualities and characteristics do you look for? And why are they important to your organization?
Well, when it comes to the office team, I prefer hiring people who have been caregivers, even family caregivers at one time or another. Even myself, as I think I said earlier, I took care of my mother. So we all have that very empathetic view on what we're doing. We need to hire people with positive attitudes. They need to have Microsoft Office and general office skills, and that they really need to be entrepreneurial in nature, meaning they are able to work independently without anyone hovering. They take ownership of their position. We want them to ask questions if they don't understand, and they must work well with other people. If you've ever read the book Personality Plus, it breaks down 4 temperament types. Most office people have a strong melancholy temperament, and that it doesn't mean they're sad. It means that they're organized. They're chart number makers. They don't like chaos, and they are very neat. I highly, highly recommend anyone to read the book Personality Plus. When it comes to the caregivers, we do most interviews in person so that they must come without their PJs and slippers. They must look professional and clean. We like people who can smile and are excited to work in this industry. They need to be able to keep their cell phones tucked away, look at you in the eye, and at least be pleasant. Some are shy, and that's okay. They need to be honest about their availability. They are told we are considering them because we have a client in mind in most cases. So they can't change up their availability at the last minute. We find those with their own car that they can drive and a valid driver's license work best. Most of our clients are not on bus routes, and we don't want them to be dropped off and picked up by a third party. The old motto stands true today: hire for attitude and train for skill.
Beth, I love that motto, and I agree with that too. Hire for attitude and train for skill. Thank you for sharing these tips. Turning to staff retention, what strategies have you found most effective in retaining your staff, both in the field and in the office, particularly in the competitive field of senior care?
Well, competitive pay and perks are at the forefront of retention. If they're coming in cold and they don't know you, that's what they're looking for. Then working with them to find a good fit for a working environment is the key. We do take a look at their availability, the distance they're willing to travel to a client, their skill set, and the fourth is their personality and temperament. It's kind of like dating service. As an example, we had a retired accountant work for us, but she didn't like her client who was very quiet. She came and asked if we could find her a client that liked to talk. She had enough of a quiet work environment. And we don't pick up very difficult clients, to be honest. Those that are rodent and bug infested or have horrible behaviors. If we, as an office person, won't work in that environment, we don't pick up that kind of a client, period. My nurse simply says, "I'm sorry, but we don't think we'll be able to meet your needs." No drama about it. No talk about it. We just apologize and recommend another company if we can. We once had a client want to come back to us, but my nurse gave them a hard no. Last time, she called my nurse racist and yelled at her. We don't have time to deal with drama. We have grown large enough that we aren't that desperate for ours.
Can you share with our listeners the importance of creating a workplace culture that makes your employees want to stay with your company long term?
Our office is a caregiver first office, and it's a system we take seriously. Without them, we wouldn't have clients to serve, right? We want to make it as nice for them as we can. In the end, it's important to show them that you respect them, like listening to what they say and follow through with what you're going to do. Also, appreciation is huge. Yes, I give out end-of-year bonuses. If they're smiling and happy and well-trained, why would they want to leave? You have the team that will keep serving the clients, and you don't have to worry about turnaround so much, which honestly will be a big thorn in your side if you want to achieve growth. And let's face it, you have bragging rights with your Listen 360 scores when they're strong, right? The referral partners want to know that you'll be able to staff. And with a high turnover, that is not good for your reputation. So we do what we can to make sure that our caregivers understand they're going to be paid fairly, have the best benefits we can give them, and as many hours as they want to stay happy with us.
Thank you so much, Beth, for sharing your leadership insights. Before we reach the end of our episode, what advice would you give to other franchisees who are looking to improve their staff retention and motivation?
For me personally, from my experience, I'm just going to say, honestly, be present and engaged. Even if you have an administrator that can run the show without you, you need to keep a pulse on your business. Even if I'm on vacation, I'm checking in just a little bit. Second, have a fair workplace policy and procedure book. We have a well-written employee manual and do follow it. Make sure your office team knows what everything is in there. Don't be afraid to update it if you're missing out a policy. Like, what do you do if you have to take a caregiver off schedule because there's a theft accusation? We just ran into that one. Third, don't play favorites. My daughter does work for me, and I'll still correct her if she's not giving me what I need. Like following up with me after a meeting she had without me. I want an update. Love you, Nick, if you end up hearing this. Fourth, keep encouraging them to go for more training. Invest in your team. We aren't perfect. We don't have the highest percentage of people finishing their Reliance training. We're still working on that. We do Tuesday tips for the office team, which is sharing insightful tips on soft skills or how to use technology better. I have paid for my business development manager to attend an 8-week, one time a week training on marketing. I will train them on Microsoft Office if need be. My daughter is a cell phone and application pro. We'll do whatever it takes to help them learn more. And fifth, just follow the golden rule. Be that boss that your team can depend on. They oftentimes want to share things with you. Yes, I do hear about their weekend fun on Monday morning. I want to hear if they're doing well or not. Listen to them, no matter how small. And if you promise something, you had better do your best to deliver or explain why it's delayed. Trust is so important. They came on board wanting to follow you, so be that person worthy of being followed.
Thank you so much, Beth, for joining us today and sharing not only your experience, but your insightful thoughts with our listeners.
Thank you, Tiffany, and I do hope I was able to help and be of some value today.
Listeners, to view resources, show notes, and access more ComForConnections episodes, visit ComForConnections.com. You can also subscribe and listen to our podcast on your favorite app. Thank you for listening and helping older adults live their best life possible.